guess we'll just because we got you, we'll start with the weekend here.
Sure.
Kind of tough start on Friday night against PA, but bounce back nice. So maybe just talk us through the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you go back to Friday night. I think obviously it's a really tough day trip for us to go to PA. It's especially with the way they're playing. It's never an easy night. I thought they came out with a real good jump and kind of took it to us real early, and we just weren't able to find our legs. It's just a lack of focus and prep. So, I mean, as a coaching staff, we have to make sure that our guys are ready to play, especially in an environment like that. So, yeah, I mean, we had some good conversations Saturday morning, challenged a few guys that we need to be better in areas, and obviously played really well against a Portland team that, they had a last game of their road trip, so we understood that we had to get a real good start and kind of get on top of them early, which we did a good job. So, and then I mean Saskatoon. I mean I was really impressed playing a 3-3 with an effort like that, limit the amount of scoring chances they had to come back from 2-0 down in a building that we haven't had much success was really good to see and important to see for our group. I think to kind of build some confidence here before the BC trip.
Obviously, you guys sit 7th place in the conference right now, but kind of where do you evaluate where your team's at and how the season's gone so far?
Yeah. I mean, I think we just lacked a little bit of consistency with our gameplay here. Obviously, adding Mayo and Rochak has really helped kind of stabilize our back end, and we've been happy with how our young defensemen have stepped up and played some real important minutes. And I think anytime you can add 2 defensemen like that, it kind of slots guys in better spots for them to succeed here in the second half as it tightens up and the games mean a little bit more. So, I mean, adding those 2 guys and just kind of getting them accustomed to how we want to play in our system, I think they've come a long way here in the last little stretch and have really stabilized our back end. I think that's been a big part of just us limiting some of the scoring chances was a big area that we weren't real happy with a month ago and probably led to a little bit of our inconsistency. So, I mean, like the way our lineup has been playing, I think we've been getting production from all 4 lines, which has been really important. We've had guys like Dingman and Rixey step up, and Gaucher and Rondo, some of those young guys. So I think that's the important thing for our group. If we're going to have success here in the second half, we're going to need depth score. You have Misselbacher, but sometimes those guys play the tough matchups every night. When you play the top teams, they're not always going to have it. So we have to make sure that we're getting good depth scoring, and our young guys have showed that here of late.
When you kind of hit on it a little bit, I was talking with Chad at the trade deadline. He said, you wanted to shore up the back end. He thought you guys were scoring when you needed to score, but you weren't maybe stopping the goals that you needed to, and you wanted to get some help for Reed. So and for Rocha as well. So maybe talk about your goaltending a little bit too, and how well and how well they've been playing despite maybe some of that inconsistency.
Yeah. I mean, Joey's played really well for the role he's been put on. He usually gets the tougher games at times, and especially early in the year, he was. Dicker didn't play well enough to start the year, and Joey stepped up and got some really important wins and kind of got us on the right track. And then, Dicker came around, and I mean, I'm very upfront and honest with Dicker and where I feel his game's at. And I had a conversation right before we left to the break that I think he could get to another level. He's one of the best goalies in the league in my mind when he's playing his best, and I didn't think he was at that level before Christmas, but I think the break really helped him kind of regroup. And since we've been back for Christmas, he's been really good for us. So kind of back to where I've seen him in years past when he's playing his best, and both guys are going to be real important here down the stretch.
And speaking of that stretch run, I mean, we'll start with maybe the first or the next 2 weeks here. 6 really important games through BC, but also a tough grueling trip. So I guess how do you as a coach kind of manage what you're looking for out of your guys, your game plan, knowing that this is one of the tougher road trips of the season?
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy road trip for sure. Just with the travel, I think I haven't done it in the second half post deadline, so a little bit different. Usually we've gone out early October. So now that you have your roster and guys are kind of settled into roles and what they do, I think our guys will have the focus, and there's a little uncertainty early in the year with just where guys are playing and what roles they're going to play. So, I mean, I think our guys, obviously with the way we played last weekend, there's a lot of confidence in our group that if we play the right way, we can have success. You're going into a really tough Victoria team to start a real tough back-to-back with Vancouver that's playing well. So the start of the trip's going to really dictate, how it's going to go. We just want to make sure that we get there, it's obviously new to a lot of players going out there and experiencing that trip. So just making sure our focus and preparation is there for that first game.
Yeah, having this road trip like right now in the season, does it feel like these games kind of mean a little bit more? You do have a chance to kind of maybe move up at least a couple positions in the standings over the next couple weeks if you play well. You know, you said you've never been out there at this time of the season, so does it create at least a little bit more jump?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we want to fight for the division lead. We want to catch some teams with points, so really important games for us going out there. And I think, I think with the group that we have a real good leadership. Obviously, some new guys into those kind of leadership roles, but I think they've had a real good voice, and some of the guys that have had that experience. But you've seen some of the other teams that went out there early and just how tough it can be with the schedule. And Brandon's out there right now. So, we want to make sure that we go out there and, get some points and try and gain some ground here.
And then knowing that, you're right now kind of back and forth, 6th, 7th, 8th position, and then knowing who the top 3 teams in the conference are, do you guys have a little bit of an underdog mentality already looking forward 2 months from now? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think, you look at the teams in the Central that loaded up. I think, obviously, Lethbridge didn't have their full lineup forwards, but, we played them really well when they were here, and I think we have a lot of confidence that, when we play the right way, we can compete with those teams and be in it with those teams. So we want to definitely set ourselves up as best we can for the playoffs, and that's important, just kind of sticking to the process, trying to improve each day and collect points here. So you can't get too ahead of yourselves, but I think it's just real competitive. I don't think there's an outlier of one team just a lot better. I think it's really competitive. Us, Brandon, Prince Albert, Saskatoon. You look at all those teams; like they've had really good games with the Central teams. It's going to be really tough down the stretch, and I think it's going to be real competitive playoffs.
A lot of your success early came at home. You've had some big wins on the road, like the Saskatoon game. What do you think it'll take to, as you go on a big trip, to consistently have more success away from this building?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously something that we've talked about as a staff, is how do we take our game. I think it's been really good on the road for the last couple of years, and it's been an issue for us with some of our, especially our day trips. I just haven't been happy with just our jump and our starts, especially, and it's definitely not easy when you have a team waiting for you. So I think, it's something that we've talked about with the group, and when you can get out there day before, practice day before, and you're kind of in that setting, I feel that we do play better, but it is something that we definitely have to be better at here. In the second half is our day trips for sure, but just our consistency on the road.
You mentioned the additions on D, but Trey Wilkie's come in, 2 big goals for the other day, 6 points in 5 games. How well does he fit in, and why? Yeah,
I mean, I've been real happy with his game. I think he's fit in really well with Gould and Dez. I think that they had some, real good chemistry kind of to start, but we kind of shuffled the lines, just trying to look for 2 real good lines. I think he fits in just to their playing style really well. With he's hard on pucks. He's real strong on his feet. He can shoot the puck. So when he gets into scoring areas, you can see on the weekend his ability to finish. So yeah, I've been real happy with him, and he's had confidence. He's played in the league for a couple of years. I think right before we traded with him, he's had some success putting the puck in the back of the net. So that's something that we saw, and I think it's an area that we can continue to build with him and get him into the right spots to shoot the puck, and just kind of build his confidence. And looking forward to where we can get him.
You mentioned adding those older D and how it just sort of helps round things out. Just pushing guys back even one spot that the younger guys had to play a little bit more before. How much extra confidence are you seeing in their game now that they're kind of slotted maybe more where they're probably ready for it?
Yeah. I mean, I think you go back to the Saskatoon game. I think in games where you have the 3-and-3s, now it's a little different when you have 2 blowouts on both ways where the minutes weren't loaded up for the older guys. But I think a guy like McGregor playing a 3-and-3 where, his minutes are down a little bit, but in a game like that where you play 3-and-3, he gets an opportunity. You can just see he has a little bit more jump, and I think that's really where it stands out, and it'll be important here in the second half. They've played important minutes. They've played against tough matchups, and now, yes, their minutes are going to be dialed back again, but, they should have more jump because the schedule is grueling in the second half. It's really tough for first-year players to be real consistent every game, so I've been real happy with how they've adjusted. I think it's helped in the back-to-backs in those games, just them having more of an impact in the game.
Just one for me. Just excuse me. First game is going to be against James Patrick, your former head coach in Winnipeg. I know how much you looked up to James and worked with him in Winnipeg and those really good teams you were with. What's it going to mean to go head to head against him in Victoria?
Yeah, it's obviously something I've been looking forward to here for the last since the schedule came out. So yeah, with Jake there, a few guys, Mel Davidson there. They have a lot of our Winnipeg staff that went to Victoria with Jake and Jeep. So yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to going against them head to head. Obviously, someone who means a lot to me, really helped. I think my coaching career was the biggest influence probably on me of what it takes to coach at this level and how to have success. So looking forward to get to him. I mean, we won't probably have too many conversations this week. He's a pretty competitive guy, but no, I'm looking forward to getting out there and seeing him again. And yeah, it should be a good game.
Perfect. Thanks, Taras.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.